Good morning and welcome to the Grow Omaha Show, brought to you by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. This is the only radio show that gives you an update and keeps you updated on economic development news and lets you know what retailers, restaurants, and businesses are opening in our community. Many thanks to our title sponsor, Dingman's Collision Center. It is family owned. I have actually met and worked with the fourth generation. And it opened in 1996. They have 4 locations, soon to be 5, which I'm going to talk about. Northwest, Midtown, Omaha Southwest, and Papillion. Dingman's Collision Center has been chosen the best of Omaha in auto body repair every year since 2005. And I am proud to announce that near 202nd and Highway 370 on Husker Drive, early part of 2026, a 20,600 square foot auto body repair shop by Dingman's will be the 5th location in the metro area. So Gretna will be well served. My tenacious co-host, Jeff Beals, is taking the weekend off. However, I am pleased to have a man who has served our community for many decades in business and many aspects of local government. He is also running to be the next United States Congressman in Nebraska's 2nd District. Brinker Harding, welcome back to Grow Omaha.
Good morning, Trenton. Thanks for having me here.
It's been a while, and you and I have worked together in business, in commercial real estate. We were on the planning board together. You are a 4th-generation Omahan, and your professional experience prior to currently serving on the Omaha City Council includes being chief of staff and Director of Economic Development to Mayor Hal Dobb, and a commercial real estate professional, as we talked about, and a member of the Omaha Planning Board. And in the next 2 segments, we're going to talk all things Omaha, as well as discuss your plans to improve the federal government. You think you can fix it?
I'm going to give it my best.
That is awesome. Well,
I will.
We have another Grow Omaha Eats restaurant review from our acclaimed writer, Chris Corey. The Fox Den opened August 15th at 4016 Underwood Avenue, replacing Le Beau just downstairs from Udalali, which is a great restaurant. To be fair, it's more of a refinement than a replacement, where Le Beau was a small plate, tapas-inspired bar. The Fox Den is focused on approachable, elevated bar food with a robust, creative cocktail list, a concept designed to draw more foot traffic. It's warm, inviting, and distinctly local. So you can read the full review at growomaha.com in the review section, along with Chris does a great job on his movie reviews. It is time for the Development News of the Week, sponsored by Eagle Mortgage Company, the best place for residential mortgages. Holly Schneiderwin runs a tight ship. They've been in business for over 30 years. They're licensed mortgage brokers serving Nebraska and Iowa. You can either go to 303 North 114th, that's 114th in Davenport, or go to eaglemortgagecompany.com to start your home buying adventure. Go there and get a pre-approval letter. They're not beholden to any banks. They can shop your mortgage, look at your financial wherewithal, and give you the best solutions. Well, the escape lounges. When I heard that there's an escape lounge at the new airport expansion coming 2027, I was thinking, what if I'm late for my flight if I get stuck in the escape lounge? So what do you think, Brinker? The first ever, this thing's going to be huge. It's going to be on a 3rd level. It'll be interesting, overlooking the tarmac, and it's part of the $950 million airport terminal expansion modernization project. Anybody, you don't have to be a Platinum, American Express Platinum member or Black Card or anything like that. Anybody can pay the price and hang out in this lounge. Have you heard much about it?
I have. And first of all, the near $1 billion improvement to Epley Airfield is a great addition to the city. It's going to help increase the number of passengers that are going through there. I think that lounge is actually behind security, though, so it's not like you can make plans to go out on Friday night and just go and enjoy the watching the planes take off. But great addition to the airport, and soon we'll have international flights as well.
And they will also honor you, so you can pay to go in there. But if your Priority Pass or whatever Dragon Pass is, some other credit card programs allow participants, and I'm guessing that you have to have a flight or something like that. If you're a member, you can't just go there and eat all your meals there and go home. But to have a high-speed Wi-Fi and nicer restrooms and a bar and everything else, if your plane gets delayed, that's a wonderful thing. Interestingly, Escape Lounges is based in Manchester, United Kingdom, has 20 locations in the United States, along with 5 in the UK and 2 in Australia. The closest existing locations are in the airports in Kansas City, Minneapolis, Northwest Arkansas, and Tulsa, Oklahoma. So we're excited about that. You know what? I don't think we're going to get, as far as I know, and we've had the guys from the airport who do a wonderful job on the expansion and running our international airport. Even though it's at Omaha Eppley Airfield, Jeff and I call it the International Airport. And I don't think they're going to have a moving walkway. I was kind of bummed about that. You and I both travel quite a bit.
Yeah.
And when you're going across an airport, a busy airport, it's good to have a moving walkway.
I think it's still going to be compact enough that you don't really need. And look, we all want to get our steps in too, don't we?
Absolutely. I've definitely got my steps in airports in my time. Well, here's a cool project. People asked us. We had a lot of people write in about the fencing that's up at Regency Court, just north and east of Borsheim's and Bonefish Grill. Prestige Flower Child, a health-conscious restaurant chain at 120 Regency Parkway on the north side. Construction has started in the parking lot, and it's a 5,000 square foot, one-story structural steel frame building, which includes commercial kitchen and a covered outdoor patio. I hope it's the same Flower Child. It's called Prestige Flower Child, but have you ever been to a Flower Child in Arizona or Scottsdale?
I have not. No, I've seen the concept, but I've not actually been to one.
Very light, big windows. It's healthy, a lot of healthy options, but it's just a new take on a restaurant. So I'm really excited about that.
It'll be a great addition to what's already going on in Regency. It's a lot of tremendous eating opportunities and other commercial retail opportunities. Great addition. No
question. Moving west, Nebraska Cancer Specialist plans to open a full-service clinic at the recently announced Bryan Elkhorn campus to be built southwest of 204th and West Center Road. 10,000 square foot clinic will be Nebraska Cancer Specialist's 6th Omaha area location and 16th in Nebraska and Iowa. Phase 1 of the Bryan Elkhorn campus will include 2 medical buildings totaling 137,000 feet. The clinic is expected to open in 2027. This is that Bravada, I think they call it that, something like that. And it's been sitting there for a long time. But we have another health system moving into Omaha. Is that crazy?
Look, the health industry is very important to Omaha's economy, and I think we're nationally known and really internationally known for the services and the research that, as well as the medical services that we have here in Omaha.
It's I was telling these guys before the show is that I got a nice little letter from Medica, and my if I stick with Medica, it's 41% increase, and that's pretty high. So I got to check into that and figure out the Brinker has assured me that he's going to take care of the rising health costs, so I'm going to rely on him. I won't have everybody else call you for that, though. So here's right up your alley. The Omaha City Council approved the city's final capital commitment to the riverfront. Mm-hmm. Although there's been $350 million to cover the costs from philanthropic community and private partnerships, these things need to be maintained, right?
Absolutely. And that's interesting. When I was running for city council, that was one of the things I really talked a lot about is being able to leverage those public-private partnerships. And really what we've been able to do in Omaha is in large part as a result of those relationships. But you have to make sure that those who are willing to invest in Omaha have to make sure that the city's going to be a good partner in that and maintain those assets. So you talked about the parks, the downtown riverfront parks, $350, $400 million project. $300. I'll say it's over $400 million project. About $350 million of that comes from the private sector, the philanthropic community, and the city puts in about 50 or 60. And if we're able to make those kind of leverage those kind of investments, that's just to the benefit of Omaha. But we have such a tremendous philanthropic community that's willing to invest in Omaha. We'll do those all day long as I'm around.
Isn't it kind of fun that when you were in the mayor's office, chief of staff and economic development with Mayor Hal Dobb, the convention center was built?
Yeah, that was really when Hal was mayor of Omaha, and when I worked from him for basically from about 1995 to 2000.
20 hours a day.
Just about. But it was a great opportunity for me. And Omaha at the time, if you remember, for those who can remember, our downtown area was just dying.
Absolutely.
And, for Hal to have the vision to come in and we'd talked about a new arena convention center, how many studies had been done. The Civic Auditorium was really like our living room. Right. Everything we did in Omaha was at the Civic Auditorium. Creighton basketball, or the home show, or
the By the Big O show at the Holiday Inn, Holiday Inn Hotel at 72nd and Grover.
Yeah,
I spent too much time there and too much rubber chicken. But also, when Hal was in office, the First National Tower,
right,
the Union Pacific headquarters, and there's a lot going on down there. But
those are really I would say, for all that happened at that time, which was great, is also the reason why you see even more investment, more interest in downtown Omaha. Those are really the building blocks to be able to do things like the downtown riverfront parks or the new Mutual of Omaha Tower. The vision that Hal had. I mean, I was very fortunate to be at the table and see a lot of those projects and be a part of a lot of those projects that really transformed our city.
And we'll get into more of those projects, public art, what's going on downtown, what's going on for the rest of the city and the state after the next break. And that is your Development News of the Week, sponsored by Eagle Mortgage Company. Please go to eaglemortgagecompany.com to start your home buying adventure. And we will be back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds right here on 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the Grow Omaha Show, sponsored by Cheer Athletics and Dingman's Collision Center. I'm Trenton Magid. Jeff Beals, who usually sits in this seat, has the weekend off, and I am joined by our friend Brinker Harding. And Brinker Harding serves on the Omaha City Council, and he is also running for United States Congress for Nebraska's 2nd District. And we are talking about all things Omaha, Nebraska, and what is going on in our fair city. Brinker, we're talking about downtown and having a vibrant community, and how your time in city government and the mayor's office many years ago, how things started. And now we're starting to see not just this $350 million riverfront park, but we're also seeing things like this urban garden and park under construction at 727 South 13th Street. That'll be called Polina Gardens, according to KFA TV. It will be owned and maintained by Lortzen Gardens, which does a great job. This is 13th, southeast of 13th and Jones Street. How do things like this come about for the public good?
Well, I think, again, I said it maybe a little bit before the break, but it's the willingness and interest of a lot of those in the philanthropic community that are willing to invest in Omaha. I mean, we have great arts, we have great sports, we have great entertainment options, and to have those individuals want to see our city improve and partner both with the public sector on those projects, I think says a lot for our city.
Absolutely. And I remember when the Lortzen family, First National Bank, who've been such great corporate citizens, employ a ton of people in our city, were looking to figure out where they're going to build their headquarters and their new headquarters. And they're looking out west, and they knew it'd be a lot easier to go out west and take some farmland and stuff like that. But they made the commitment to go downtown and build the tallest building. And now you've got another great corporate citizen, Mutual of Omaha, that their building is a lot more expensive because it's a lot later. and you're going to have the tallest building between Chicago and Denver, and the crane's at its highest level. It's going to be 677 square feet, 44 stories. What role did the Omaha City Council play in that?
Well, I think the mayor's office and Mayor Stothard at the time and the city council played a great role in that. Had it not been for the investment that Mutual was willing to make and the city to help in that process, for the approval process, it's made a great difference for our downtown area. And it also opens up the opportunity for the redevelopment of Mutual's current campus, which is also going to be an important part of the development of Omaha. And again, it kind of ties in with UNMC's campus and what they're doing. So you will have an incredible amount of development that occurs from downtown out to the Med Center. Probably, I think the projections are over $4 billion of investments in the next 10 to 15 years in that area. And then you've got Todd Heestand and Mary Heestand. What they're doing with the Duo, the Central Park Plaza, all of those apartments right next to the Mutual Tower is amazing. Mm-hmm. The restaurants, Pickleman's is right there. They do a great business, and All American Burger, my friend that runs that. But it comes without it doesn't come with a little heartache with current construction, and we've seen that on Farnham Street and stuff, and we've seen that the chamber put together $1 million to go through to some of those tenants to keep them going and everything else. And I implore people to visit those restaurants and those retailers, and it's a temporary pain for a long-term gain. It absolutely is, and it's those retailers, those commercial operations that are along the route of the streetcar certainly are going to have business interruption, and I applaud the chamber for putting a fund together to help with that business interruption, if you will. Interestingly, I also looked at the possibility of seeing if there were city funds that might be available to help in that regard, especially with I asked the question, the answer was no, but I asked the question of could some of the tax increment financing revenues that are generated by the development in and along the route, if those could be used for some of that business interruption, that fund. And the answer is no. That's not one of the uses that you can use tax increment financing revenues for. But we need to make sure, as you said, to make that extra effort to visit those retailers, to visit those commercial operations in the interim, because at the end of the day, we do need to help them get through this period. But after it's all done, it's going to be fantastic. It's
going to be dynamite, but
yeah.
they've got to hang on, and everyone's got to contribute to get them through this. Go ahead.
One other thing. Sebian Zaldo. I think many people in Omaha might remember Sebian Zaldo, but I use one of his lines quite frequently. This is, again, not to diminish the kind of the pain that some of these retailers are going through, but he used to say something that I kind of liked, is that, especially if it's road construction or this, is that with all those orange cones out there,
right?
It's behind every one of those orange cones is a little bit of progress.
There's no question about it. And the streetcars the same way, and it's going to take a little while, but it's going to be dynamite when it opens. There's been a lot of talk in front of City Council about the homeless and the encampments. You see these tents popping up on public properties and stuff like that. And then it's a process. And give us just a short overview. I know it's
short.
I know it's a complicated. And go ahead.
Yeah, something I'm very passionate about, because I've seen that, at least anecdotally, I've seen, or through constituents who've contacted me, and I just think the general public would probably agree that it sure seems that we're seeing a lot more of this activity in Omaha, and I wanted to make sure that we addressed it sooner rather than later, because the time to take care of a problem isn't after it's out of control. It's to stem it before it's out of control. So I introduced at the end of August an ordinance to address the encampment issue in Omaha. the current ordinances didn't give us the ability to clear the encampments out. And for the people who say I'm criminalizing homelessness, I'm not criminalizing homelessness. There are already probably up to 14 ordinances in the city of Omaha that they could be cited for in these conditions, whether it be loitering or littering or something along those lines. They could have already been cited for those. What this ordinance would do would give us the ability to clear out the encampment so that it is a public safety issue, it is a public health issue, both for the people in these environments, but also for the people and the businesses that live around these environments. So that's what I was trying to accomplish. And when I originally introduced it, I said I would work with the mayor's office to come up with a solution that would, the ordinance I introduced originally was to start the conversation. What I came up with in my work with the amendment of the whole that I proposed, the police officers would have been able to, upon first contact, offer those people the ability to get to a shelter or get the help they need. If they didn't accept it at that point, they would be given 24 hours to clear the encampment. After that, the officers would come back, again, offer them the ability to get to a shelter or place of help. If they didn't do that at that time, they would cite them, give them a citation for violating the encampment ordinance. At that point, they would then the city would contact the agencies, certain agencies working with the city to help them get into a place of help or shelter. It also would give them the ability to go into a diversion program, a problem-solving court, and if they did that, then if they successfully completed that, the charges would be dropped. So there was a bit of a carrot and stick, but again, it was not criminalizing homelessness. It was intended to get them the help that they need. And it takes care of the public safety issue for both those in the encampments and those in living in around. I'm sorry, one quick other point is that these people in the encampments, unfortunately, are living in conditions with sex trafficking, prostitution, drug use, just the human squalor. I don't want those people to be subjected to those conditions for one more day, and that's why I was trying to get the help immediately to them.
Well, I applaud you for starting the discussion, and it's a complex issue that it takes a lot of people to solve, and I want to thank Sheriff Aaron Hansen for leading the charge on a lot of that. We've seen a lot of his stuff on social media and stuff, and he's got his heart in the right place, and it takes everyone to help in that issue.
Agreed.
Well, it is time for a middle of the show break. You're listening to Trenton Magid and Brinker Harding. We're going to be right back in a few minutes to talk about other things about Omaha. We're going to talk to Brinker about the state of Nebraska and his race for the federal government. Welcome back to the Grow Omaha Show, sponsored by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. I am here with Brinker Harding. Jeff Beals has the weekend off. I am Trenton Magid. And ladies and gentlemen, if you have kids or grandkids who you want to develop tumbling and stunning skills, you should check out Cheer Athletics Omaha. Go to caomaha.com to register your athlete and join the All-Star Cheer Revolution. Located at 14620 Gold Coast Road in Papillion, right off 370 and Highway 50, Cheer Athletics Omaha competes at the highest level of all-star cheer. It is only one of 19 cheer athletics in the world, and we appreciate their title sponsorship. It is now time for the Real Estate Development Spotlight, sponsored by Noddle Companies. Every week we talk about a development project associated with Noddle Companies. One of the most prolific developers in the Midwest, Exarban Village, Kiewit headquarters in the Builders District, and the Valmont headquarters out west, just to name a handful. Noddle's developments are diverse and range from anchored open-air shopping centers, Class A office buildings, residential projects, and mixed-use developments. Well, in today's Real Estate Development Spotlight, we're actually going to talk about Noddle Companies itself and a few of their other projects. They have moved back downtown And there is a ton of activity in the Builders District, a 10-block urban village totaling more than $650 million in private development, anchored by Kiewit headquarters, corporation's headquarters. After many years of officing in the Exarban Village area, another Noddle project, they moved into their brand new offices at 1501 Mike Fahey Street, which is a mass timber building they developed. They certainly like to be where the action is. We've talked about Creighton University's announcement recently called Fly Together, a nearly $300 million investment in the Creighton athletics and recreations through new and upgraded facilities across 17th Street, right next to the Builders District. And they're really making a sense of community there. The other thing I want to talk about with Noddle is they just landed Red Door Grill. Have you ever been to Red Door Grill?
No, I have not.
It's gonna take the former Spirit World space. It's like 8,000 square feet on 67th Street at Exarban Village. So that's a new one. A lot of people like it, and it's a good place to go. Noddle Companies is an Omaha-based full-service real estate company and can be reached at noddlecompanies.com. So back with Brinker Harding, and there's so much going on. You decided, was it in July that you announced that you're running for United States Congress?
We announced on July 1st.
Absolutely.
And we were in parades on July 4th weekend, had signs. We were very well organized and wanted to make sure that people knew from day one that we were going to be the most organized, hardest working campaign out there, and that we were going to win in May and we were going to win again in November. And
there's no doubt, whether it's social media or the parade routes or unions, you were at an event before this. I mean, you're all over, and that's what it takes. But also, there are a lot of issues that you're going to be faced with the first day on the job, and right now we're in the middle of a government shutdown, and there's talk that for grants for the University of Nebraska system, the White House said had a report that said just in Nebraska that while the government is shut down, it's about $98 million impact in state economic output, meaning we're losing because the government shut down. How do you fix that?
Well, I think the best fix, or the easiest fix, would be for the Democrats to vote for the clean resolution, and they're the ones who are in control right now of keeping the government closed. They need to vote for the clean resolution and get the government back open, and then we can have the negotiations on the issues that they're trying to hold hostage by not passing the clean resolution.
Let's go to another fun subject on a national level is tariffs and how tariffs affect Nebraska farmers.
Is that where you want me to lead way in there?
Go ahead.
I didn't know if that was really a question or a statement.
I can tell you this. For instance, we 95% of the corn exports, 90% of soy, 57% of soybean meal, 32% of pork, and 23% of Nebraska beef. When it comes to exports, all goes to only 3 countries. Mm-hmm. And the tariffs that come out of Washington can certainly affect our growers and our farmers. How do you?
Absolutely. I just met with the Farm Bureau a week or so ago, and this is obviously an interesting subject and one that means a lot to our economy statewide. I mean, agriculture is still the economic engine of the state, and that's why it's so important. So on the tariffs, when they were originally, some of the tariffs were originally announced, I think a lot of Nebraskans, especially our farmers and ranchers, were willing to give the president some leeway and see how it could work out. As we get into the harvest season, we see what's happening with our row crop prices, and now with the beef industry, with the recent tariffs that were announced, or consideration of what the president was going to do with Argentinian beef. It's I think there's look, our farmers and ranchers want to make sure that their product gets to their customers. they don't want to just rely on a bailout. They produce and they want their product, which is the best. That's worldwide. It's the best product out there, both in terms of beans or corn or beef or pork or poultry for that matter. But we need to make sure that we have those markets. I don't think China's bought a bean from the U.S. since May. And when those markets go away, Trenton, and those customers go away, and they still have the demand, so they go to Brazil or they go to another country to get that product. And then when we get these trade issues resolved, and we're back selling those products, it's harder to get that customer back. So we need to make sure that we're getting these issues resolved. And I don't know if you talk more about the recent announcements of maybe bringing more Argentinian beef, which will artificially lower the price of beef or those meat products in the country.
We don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that. We need to make sure that our products have the markets to be sold in worldwide.
Absolutely. And there's so much more we could talk about. And we are going to come back from the final break with the Perkins Kreitzer construction round. But I want to touch on a few of these things right after the break. You're listening to Brinker Harding and Trenton Magid right here on 1110 KFAB. And welcome back to the Grow Omaha Show, sponsored by Dingman's Collision Center and Cheer Athletics. I am here with Brinker Harding. My name is Trenton Magid. Jeff Beals will join us again next week. And it is time for your Perkins Kreitzer construction lightning round. Perkins Kreitzer Construction is full-service Class A general contractor based in Omaha that serves Omaha, Lincoln, Council Bluffs, and surrounding communities. Please go to p-cconstruction.com and check out several of their projects. They have experienced construction team of project managers, project administrators, superintendents, carpenters, and laborers, many with over 30 years of experience in the construction industry. They're a full-service general contractor. They work on projects, small projects, renovations, repairs, interior build-outs, up to multi-million-dollar new developments. And we want to thank Perkins Kreitzer Construction for their sponsorship of this. You ever go to Pint 9 Brewing?
Yes.
Well, Pint 9 Brewing at 10411 Portal Road in Papillion has begun a construction on an expansion into the adjacent bay to add a larger event space and additional storage. The project, called The Room at Pint 9 Brewing Company, will expand the brewery's private party and capacity and expected to be completed by the end of the year. It's unbelievable how many breweries have just popped up everywhere.
In the famous words of Justice Kavanaugh, I like beer.
Yeah, that says it all right there. So exciting news at Exarban Village, actually. My favorite French bakery, which is at about 144th and 145th and West Center Road, is going to have another location at Exarban Village, a 2,800 square feet grand patisserie. The proprietor is a husband and wife, and it is unbelievable. So I highly encourage you to go to their current location, and in about a month or two, they should be open right on 67th Street. And then we talked about the Red Door Grill, which is highly anticipated in the old Spirit World space. And they keep bringing new businesses and restaurants to Exarban Village. And I really love how it's just all-encompassing and it's a great place to hang.
Great development, and especially with you have the dog parks in there. You have what's Sam's the little kind of cabana-like. Sonny's. That's a great place too.
Yeah, and here's some news that's not surprising but unfortunate. Panorama Wellness Production, formerly Eat Fit Go, is closing and going to liquidate all of their business assets from their production facility that made vacuum-sealed meals that were shipped nationwide. 25,000 square feet production facility, has a wide range of restaurant and mass food production equipment and capabilities. They also have a 3,000 square foot office space full of office furniture. And our friend Tom Milley at the auction mill is handling the auction and liquidation. The auction catalog and bidding will be online early next week and will close in late November. Please go to theauctionmill.com for more information if you're in the mood for any of those kind of things. And I'm going to, that is your lightning round brought to you by Perkins Kreitzer Construction, p-c construction.com. I want to end it a little bit early because I want you in the next minute to tell us why you decided to run for United States Congress.
Well, thanks for that opportunity. First, I want to say something about Grow Omaha and your newsletter. I hope people subscribe to that because there is so much content in there, and it's so informational, and it's so spot on. And it's, I mean, you're almost like you're my newspaper now for the most part. You get sports in there, you get entertainment, you get news, you get what's happening, in the commercial real estate
14
market.
contributor writers. Just go to growomaha.com.
Okay.
We appreciate you saying that.
That was my plug for you.
How much time do we have?
Got about a minute or so.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll try to do that then. So, yeah, the reason I'm running is this, Trenton. I've got two girls that I look at America. We've had a great 250-year run so far. I wanted to see what's I look at the next 250 years, and what's that going to look like for my kids? It's interesting statistic. Over 70% of American parents today think that their kids will not have it any better than them. And that's not right in America. So I want to make sure that those next 250 years for our country are going to be.
Thank you, Brinker Harding, for running. Thank you for being on the show. You're listening to Brinker Harding and Trenton Magid on 1110 KFAB. Jeff Beals will be here next week. Have a great week.